for what's happening as a professional and what's happening in my personal life as, you know, as a young man. I mean, give me a break, bro. Come on.
Bro.
I know.
Like in the dress, the whole.
And it's lighting up. It's like a lamp.
Right. Like what? Come on.
Let's go, girl.
Zendaya is not just promoting The Odyssey, she is turning the entire press tour into a mythological fashion story. Every dress, every hairstyle, every piece of jewelry, and even the smallest detail seems to be connected to the world of ancient gods, warriors, and legendary journeys. And the more you look at her outfits, the more you realize that these are not random red carpet choices. Zendaya is playing Athena in Christopher Nolan's epic film. And with the help of her longtime stylist Law Roach, she has transformed the press tour into a modern fashion version of Greek mythology. From ancient-inspired silhouettes to archive fashion, goddess-like jewelry, and outfits inspired by mythical symbols, every look seems to tell its own story. But some of the most fascinating details are the ones you might have missed at first glance. The tour was never just about fashion. The moment Zendaya began appearing for The Odyssey, one thing became obvious. She was not simply wearing beautiful clothes, she was building a character. This is something Zendaya has become famous for during major film campaigns. Her fashion often reflects the project she is promoting. But with The Odyssey, the concept became even more ambitious. Her character, Athena, is one of the most important figures in Greek mythology. She represents wisdom, strategy, courage, and warfare. So instead of dressing like a traditional ancient Greek character, Zendaya and Law Roach created a modern interpretation of a goddess. The result was a wardrobe filled with flowing fabrics, sculptural shapes, metallic details, dramatic silhouettes, and references to ancient mythology.
That there was, only one person who got a perfect from Christopher after their take. That might have been your wife.
You got a perfect from Mr. Nolan?
No one can tell me anything now, really.
The outfits looked contemporary, but the inspiration was thousands of years old. And that contrast became the central idea behind the entire tour. The first look, A Modern Goddess, emerges. One of the early looks featured Zendaya in an archival Trussardi dress from the brand's Spring 2006 collection. This choice was already significant. Instead of immediately reaching for the newest designer collection, the team looked into fashion history. That approach became a recurring theme throughout the tour. Zendaya's wardrobe was not simply about wearing what was new. It was about finding pieces that already had a sense of history. That is particularly appropriate for a film based on one of the oldest stories in Western literature. The Trussardi look established the tone. Zendaya appeared elegant, statuesque, and almost otherworldly. The outfit did not look like a costume. The white Jacquemus gown. As the tour continued, Zendaya appeared in a dramatic white custom Jacquemus gown. At first glance, it looked like a classic red carpet dress. But the details made it feel much more connected to the mythology of The Odyssey. The white color immediately created associations with marble sculptures, ancient temples, and classical Greek imagery. But the modern construction prevented the look from becoming predictable. The result was a kind of fashion illusion. Instead of wearing an obvious toga, Zendaya wore modern couture that suggested the shape and movement of ancient clothing. The result was far more sophisticated. The Schiaparelli moment that almost seemed impossible then came one of the most extraordinary looks of the entire campaign. For the London world premiere of The Odyssey, Zendaya wore a Schiaparelli Fall 2026 couture gown. But there was a twist. The outfit had appeared on the couture runway in Paris only hours earlier. Zendaya's stylist Law Roach had been sitting in the audience, and the look was immediately selected for Zendaya. The dress was extraordinary. The bodice was sculpted to resemble a marble human torso. It featured defined abs, ribs, and even a belly button. Below it, the skirt transformed into a dramatic ombre beaded fringe design that moved from white to silver. The effect was part sculpture, part armor, and part ancient statue brought to life. And that is exactly why it worked so well for Athena. The outfit did not simply make Zendaya look beautiful, it made her look powerful, almost like a living piece of mythology. She completed the look with nude pointed shoes and a dramatic multi-strand diamond Chopard necklace. But one of the most subtle details was her hairstyle. The braid placed on top of her head was interpreted as a modern reference to Athena's helmet. The second look that night, but Zendaya was not finished. Inside the premiere, she changed into a second look. This time, the outfit came from Valentino's Fall 2026 collection. The color palette became softer. The silhouette was more draped, and the overall effect felt even more directly connected to ancient Greek clothing. The sage-colored top appeared to draw inspiration from laurel leaves. The gray draping echoed the structure of an ancient tunic. But once again, the look was transformed through modern couture. She also changed her jewelry. Instead of the dramatic necklace worn on the red carpet, Zendaya wore large diamond earrings from the Haute Joaillerie collection. The result was a completely different interpretation of the same character. Outside the premiere, she looked like a sculptural warrior goddess. Inside, she looked more like a divine figure from an ancient painting. 2 outfits. 1 evening. 2 completely different versions of Athena. The Alexander McQueen archive look the following day in Paris, Zendaya took the mythology references even further. She wore an Alexander McQueen look from his spring 1997 couture collection for Givenchy. The collection itself was inspired by the myth of Jason and the Argonauts and the search for the Golden Fleece. That detail is extremely important, because this was not simply an old designer look selected because it looked beautiful. The collection already had a direct connection to Greek mythology. The fashion itself carried a story, and that made it perfectly suited for the Odyssey campaign. The outfit also reflected the idea of adventure and mythology without looking like a costume. This is where Zendaya's press tour became especially clever. The clothes were not just inspired by Greek mythology, some of them were already part of fashion history's own interpretation of Greek mythology. So the tour created a connection between ancient stories and modern fashion history. The jewelry was telling its own story. One of the easiest details to miss in Zendaya's looks was the jewelry. But the jewelry was essential. Diamonds, sculptural pieces, ancient-inspired forms, and dramatic designs all helped reinforce the goddess theme. The jewelry often acted almost like armor. That is especially fitting for Athena. She is not simply associated with beauty, she is associated with strategy, intelligence, and war. So Zendaya's jewelry choices frequently added strength to the outfits. Instead of making her look delicate, the accessories made her look powerful. This is one of the reasons the fashion campaign worked so well. The styling did not reduce Athena to a beautiful goddess. It suggested that she was a figure with authority, a character who could command a room. The winged look then came one of the most dramatic moments of the entire tour. At the New York premiere, Zendaya appeared in a white strapless gown by Matières Fécales. The dress featured a dramatic slit, a plunging neckline, and intricate ruching. But the most unforgettable detail was the footwear. Zendaya wore gravity-defying, heelless shoes created by Matières Fécales in collaboration with Christian Louboutin. The shoes made it appear as though she was floating above the ground. That immediately gave the entire look a supernatural quality. She also wore Chopard jewelry and styled her hair into a long braid that extended down her back. The overall result looked almost like a modern interpretation of a winged goddess, and the symbolism was impossible to miss. Zendaya was no longer simply wearing a beautiful white gown. She looked like a mythological figure descending from another world. The question now is, what will Zendaya wear next? Because if this fashion tour has already delivered marble sculptures, ancient mythology, archive couture, and gravity-defying shoes, the final look may be the most spectacular one yet. Which Zendaya the Odyssey look is your favorite so far? Tell us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into celebrity fashion, movie premieres, and the hidden details behind Hollywood's biggest style moments, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because sometimes the story begins long before the movie starts.